Hey guys, Bugazal here and welcome back to 999. Last episode we finished one of the endings, the safe ending, or I also call it the incinerator ending. And I transformed a little bit back and I figured some things out. And I went back to the fourth class, or the fourth door, the second class cabins, to be able to say to Santa, no, I do not want your four-leaf clover thingy. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm hoping that that will result in something that I want. No, not. Excuse you, what the fuck? So, I kind of figured out I want to get the knife ending, if I can. So, in order to do that, I need to go through door 7, because if I go through door 8, I have the possibility of 3 endings, and door 7 only has 2 endings that I can do, so I need to go through door 7, and then through door 6, and then I might be able to get the knife ending, because I want to show you all the endings. So, I am back here at Santa. His thingy. I am like thinking like, can I skip it even more though? Because I imagine that probably we could. We could just go to door 7 and not give her the clover.
Thanks, but no thanks. It's kind of weird to be getting presents from another dude, you know?
Santa's eyebrows went up. Apparently he hadn't thought of that.
Wow. I guess you do have a point. I won't force it on you. Sure you don't want it?
Yeah.
I don't want it. Why don't you give it to Lotus?
Ah, good idea. Will do.
Santa turned and headed off to the other room.
Hey, you old bag. I just found the perfect thing for a woman in her 40s.
Oh my god. He walked into the next room waving a bookmark. Jumpy turned back to his work. Okay, I never mind. I like it. I'm so happy I chose that. And heard a faint sound from the other room. The sound of bones breaking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
Jumpy returned to his search with renewed vigor. Oh, that's great. Oh, that was awesome. No,
hey,
no.
Junpei, you got a minute?
Sorry. I clicked it. I thought, you know, blah 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 blah. No. No. I do love it though. I don't know how to get. Oh, there it is. This is the novel one outside of the cabins. So we have the key for this escape room, the kitchen. But now I need to go into door 7. We need to go to before the door.
Hey, hold on.
Where's Clover? Blah 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 blah. Lock socks. Theseus.
Let's just get out of here. We've got the key. Let's use it. That cool with you?
Oh, because I don't have the thing now.
Yeah.
Clover nodded almost imperceptibly. Still, Jumpy was glad to see her at least somewhat responsive.
Then it's time to go.
He put his hand on her shoulders and guided her to the preparation room. As they arrived at the door, she suddenly stopped.
I'm sorry.
What was this? How was she apologizing? Jumpy wasn't sure what to make of her. Was she emotionally unstable because her brother had gone missing?
I'm really sorry. Just forget everything I told you, okay? Don't worry about it. Really. I mean it.
How could anyone pretend not to hear something like that? But something told him that this wasn't the time to press the issue. I have a fly here, is so annoying. Jumpy gave her the warmest, kindest smile he could manage.
Alright.
Thank you.
Her smile was weak. It was almost painful to watch.
Damn, what the hell took you guys so long?
Seven looked up as they walked into the room, clearly
You
irritated.
playing doctor in there or something?
Maybe. Jealous?
Seven avoided answering the question. They stood in front of the door. Jumpy took out the Jupiter key.
Alright, I'm gonna open it now.
Now we skip. Beep-a-deep-a-deep, beep-a-deep-a-deep-a-deep. Okay, gotcha. Did that one, and now we go through door 6. Yep, door 6. Which is this one, I guess. And now, as you can see, I have X here as well. So we can go through the 6th door. We can go through that door. But we can also just, you know, go here. Let's see what happens. We go through the elevator, then check the number 9 door thingy. This is the best part about the game. Yep, vacant thingy, thingy. Another 9 door. Okay. Okay. This is the best part about the game. You can skip everything if you want, if you've been through it before. Okay, we're not leaving June behind because we refuse. So we're gonna go up to meet with Lotus and 7. Knock knock. Open up. Elevator C deck. Took them long. 7.
Obviously we didn't find her. You figured that much out.
Let's check out the flow. Okay. Okay, so now we only have this
Clover's
one.
gone.
Let's see if we get something. It said stop here. See? I didn't click anything. As soon as it gets to new dialogue or new parts, it stops automatically. Jumpy and Jun ran into the central hospital room and looked around.
She's not here.
No, she isn't.
They searched a little longer, but with no luck. They couldn't find Clover.
There's no sign of her. Let's go.
Finally, they gave up and left the central hospital room. Now we should split up. If I'm correct. Slowly, they made their way back to the hallway. 7 should not be showing up. At last, they reached the stairs and Junpei spoke.
Alright, I'm thinking we should probably split up.
Yes! Knife ending! We got it! I got it!
I'll head back to the stairs and take the elevator down to E deck. June, you can take the stairs up to B deck.
All right, that sounds good. But,
What?
could you stop calling me by that code name when we're alone?
Huh?
Sure.
Sure, right. I'll do that.
There was a reason Junpei persisted in calling her June, even when they were alone. Although perhaps not the best reason. He was embarrassed to call her by the nickname he'd used when they were children, Kani. 9 years ago it came naturally after all. They were children. But now that they were adults, it felt strange. Regardless of what he might hope for, to call a woman he wasn't dating by such a childish nickname felt odd to him. Of course, to call her Miss Kuroshiki would be even more awkward, and simply Kuroshiki would seem a little brusque. I think that's how you say it. And although he couldn't put his finger on why, it felt somewhat forward to call her Akane when they hadn't seen each other for so long. In short, it was simply easier for him to call her June and leave it at that.
Jumpy.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
All right, I'm going then.
Yeah, be careful, Kane.
June, or perhaps more appropriately, Kenny, blushed and smiled.
You be careful too, Jumpy.
Yeah, got it. Take care.
She has no issue calling you Jumpy. Junpei looked after her for a moment as she ran up the stairs, then turned around and took off for the hallway. And here we go. These 7 didn't show up. We had to make certain choices. Here we go. I'm pretty sure it's a very short ending. A lot shorter than the last one, at least. Tragedy always strikes when one least expects it. But to wait for a man to stand before striking him down seems almost crueler than dealing with a fatal blow while he lies on the ground. A light in a dark place, June's smile had given him hope, both for escape and possibly for something else. It was that hope that raised his spirits just enough that they might soon be fully dashed. He opened the elevator door and there she was. A woman sat slouched against the wall. Lotus. Junpei felt his blood turn to ice. Her body was limp and her skin smooth and pale as always. Was covered in bright red blood. Junpei felt his chest constrict. He couldn't breathe and his legs began to shake. A slow, cold drop of sweat trickled down his back. He felt his stomach somersault. Junpei's mind went blank, all his thoughts replaced with endless hissing white. Driven by little more than instinct, he began to walk towards Lotus slowly. Each slow movement of his stiff limbs brought him closer to her corpse. Finally, he stood next to her. Robotically, he bent down and put his hands against her neck. There was no pulse, no rise and fall of breathing. She was slightly warm. Something somewhere in Junpei's shaken mind told him that meant she had been killed recently. Yes, Junpei thought, in his mind slowly returning, she had been killed. Someone had killed her. There was a deep cut on the left side of her chest. Blood still oozed from it, although clearly her heart had stopped beating some time ago. The weapon had been a knife then. Perhaps she had been stabbed in the heart once. She would have died immediately. He took little comfort from knowing she must have suffered very little. Only then did Junpei notice. Lotus's bracelet was gone. Okay, we know this one. Was that where the killer had ended Lotus's life, so that they might have the number 8 bracelet? If that was true, then the killer was whoever wanted the number 8 bracelet. I'm pretty sure it's Ace. I mean, this time, I guess. I mean, he has the knife, he has the 9 number bracelet, so now he has the 8. Or perhaps more accurately, the person who would gain the most by obtaining bracelet number 8. Who is that? Who would benefit the most from the number 8 bracelet? The thought had only just entered Junpei's mind when... Oh shit. He heard a noise. A sound like a sharp knife cutting through wet meat. It struck him as strange that the noise came from inside his own body. A moment later, the pain hit him. It wasn't merely pain, there was heat, extreme heat as well. He felt as though a molten iron had been splashed against the side of his body. Finally, his brain made the connection. He had been stabbed. But where? His body was quickly going numb. He couldn't tell where the knife had met his flesh. I hate the word flesh. Given the circumstances, however, he had most likely been stabbed in the back. Whoever had killed Lotus had now done the same to Junpei as well. His voice was little more than a weak groan. With what little strength he had left, Jumpy turned his body, trying to catch a glimpse of his attacker. But as he did, the knife dug itself deeper, twisting viciously. He collapsed to the floor, a puppet with its strings cut. His arms and legs lay where they fell, oddly twisted and awkwardly positioned. Jumpy's body was entirely numb. He could feel the blood leaking out of him, but nothing would move. Nothing save his eyes. He lay on the floor, laying his life ebbing away. Jumpy finally saw his attacker. 2 tiny images of the killer reflected in his eyes. With that recognition came nothing. He felt no emotions, not anger, not sadness, not regret. The paralysis that had claimed his body had reached his mind. The killer glanced down at his body. Definitely man's feet. Then, without a word, climbed into the elevator and was gone. His eyesight began to fade, the world grew blurry, and began to dissolve into an empty white fog. The fog crept into the edges of his mind and worked inexorably inward. Soon, it swallowed up the last that remained of Jumpy's mind, and his consciousness left him. There was nothing more. Into utter emptiness he fell. Into zero. Whatever Jumpy had been was gone. Knife end. Oh, sorry, bad end. More like knife end, but... I hope you enjoyed that one. Very short but sweet, you know? Ah, I got the cut and run achievement. Yep. So this is the picture for the safe ending. I ended the episode last time before I could show you that. But that's the safe ending. So as you also can see, you can see here like little yellow padlock. Basically that means here's a key, and now we have the key to unlock the coffin, right? So that's great. But we need a little bit more, because we actually need to go through all of the number 4, all of the first doors that we did. That's when you get like the original true ending, but I haven't shown you all of it yet. So we're gonna go right here. Door number 3, which is gonna be a fun one. Yes, please.
We can't let his sacrifice.
Door I want to go through door number 3.
Oh.
Nope, you can't.
Huh? Why?
Because it's impossible. If we split ourselves into 3 and 3, then we give up on going through door 3.
Why?
The bracelet numbers for the 6 of us are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 2 combinations that can go through door 3 with 3 people. 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8. That's it. Of course, 2 teams can't go through the same door.
I see. That means one team would get left behind.
That's right.
That doesn't happen if we go through door 7 or 8?
No, they're fine. We've got 3 options.
Santa began to explain.
Option A. Have 3, 5, and 8 go through door 7 and 4.
Oh, we know this
Option 4
one.
and options 3 and 4. Those are the only 3 options. At least if we want to get all 6 of us out of here.
Okay, I can't skip.
Wait.
That was when Jumpy realized. Plan A divides into 2 teams, 3, 5, 8 and 4, 6, 7. Plan B divides into 2 teams, 4, 5, 7, 3, 6, 8. And Plan C divides into 2 teams, 3, 6, 7 and 4, 5, 8.
That means...
There was only one thing they all had in common.
5 and 6 can never be on the same team.
Yep.
If we want all 6 of us to go through a door,
Then June and I can't go into the same one.
June and Jumpy had been friends since when they were kids. He trusted her more than anyone else on this ship. If he chose 7 or 8, he'd be taken away from her. Was that something he was prepared to do?
Have you mulled it over enough, or do you need more time? Anyway, that's the deal, so think it over. You've got 2 choices, 7 or 8. You can't choose 3. If you choose 3, you're gonna be leaving 3 people behind to die. So what are you gonna do? 7 or 8? Time to choose.
Jumpy thought hard. After thinking it over, his conclusion was, take the risk and choose door 3.
Sorry, Santa, but I still want to go through door 3.
What? That's nuts! You've got to be crazy! Why the hell are you so obsessed with that door?
Because there's a body out behind that one, and I want to read the creepy, gory description. Because it's fun.
I'm just...
Jumpy paused. He swallowed the words he'd been about to say. And also, this part is so much fun.
I'm just curious about door 3. That's all.
Chaos!
That doesn't explain shit!
I've got a reason. I'd be happy to explain it to you if you'll just come with me.
With that, he began walking toward the door. Their curiosity likely getting the better of them, the others followed. A few of them looked a little suspicious, but Junpei told himself that it wouldn't matter. I love how much confidence Junpei has in this one. He kept walking and kept silent. Eventually, they arrived at the number 3 door. Junpei stopped.
I'm curious about the red. 7, would you mind authenticating for me?
What? Why?
Please, just do it.
He stared at Junpei for a moment, then grunted and laid his palm heavily on the scanner.
Happy?
Yeah, thanks. The number 7 has been entered into the red. Next is June. Please touch the red just like 7 did.
Jumpy, what are you trying to figure out?
Yep. I think
Junpei thought about his answer for a moment.
I might have found another way out.
What?
What?
Really?
That got them excited, just as Junpei had intended.
Now please, June.
Oh, okay.
Six plus 3 is 13. 1 plus 3 is 7. Is 7? 1 plus 3 is 7, everyone. 1 plus 3 is 4. With those 2 numbers in the red, Junpei had what he wanted. He casually placed his own hand on the scanner, and the 3rd asterisk blinked on. 4 plus 5 is 9.
All right, the only people who haven't authenticated now are Santa, Clover, and Lotus.
True. And if you recognize, Lotus is 8, plus 4 is 12. Digital root of that is 3. And Santa is also 3.
So, what's your point?
And we're 9. And so we need a 3 to get to 12 to make another 3. So it's either going to be Santa or Clover and Lotus. And so either Santa's going to be left behind or Clover and Lotus.
You don't get it. Think about it.
Huh?
What's the sum of your number and Clover's?
12.
And what's the digital root of that?
3.
Which is Santa's number. By the way, Lotus, what's the number that's currently in the red?
7 plus 6 plus 5 equals 18. It would be 9, right?
Yes, and what will the digital root be if you add 3 to that?
3. The door's number.
There you go.
Hey, wait a minute. What the hell are you up to?
I'm not up to anything.
Oh, the way he says that. I'm not up to anything. I'm a saint.
I'm just waiting.
Waiting for what?
I'm waiting for the balance to shift.
Oh, that's such a powerful line. Waiting for the balance to shift.
Santa, or Lotus and Clover. Once one of you moves, the others won't have a choice. So I'm waiting.
Junpei laid his hand almost casually on the lever.
You son of a bitch! You tricked us!
Yes, I
All that
did.
stuff you were going on
Yes.
about is all bullshit!
Yes, he did,
Bullshit.
I guess.
Huh. I don't think so. Didn't I tell you I'd figured out another way to get out of here? This is it.
Why the hell would you do something like this?
Junpei glanced at June.
Jumpy,
You did this just so you could go through the same door as June. That's it?
Yup. Santa was furious. His face was red, and flecks of spit flew from his lips as he spoke. Junpei closed his eyes calmly and then opened them again.
So, who's it going to be? Santa? Or Lotus and Clover?
Shit!
Let's go, Clover.
Lotus is very, very good at making decisions. Oh, this is such a great scene, this one. Clover's like, I don't know what's going on. And Lotus is like, I'm not being left behind. And Santa's like, you fucking bitch! Lotus leapt forward. She grabbed Clover by the sleeve and ran for Jumpy and the door.
Fuck!
Caught by surprise, Santa froze for a moment, then shot forward like a bullet from a gun. Lotus had a head start, but Santa had the advantage in size and speed. Almost immediately, he passed Lotus and Clover.
No, wait!
Santa did not hesitate.
Ah!
He slammed his hand down on the red.
This is insane! This isn't right!
He glared at Junpei, his chest heaving.
Yeah, well, you may be right.
Junpei's voice was cold, but not without effort.
But
He turned to the red and pulled the lever. And then he kicked Santa's butt inside of the door. With the sound of metal on metal, the door opened. It would only remain so for 9 seconds. There was no time to think.
Go.
Jumpy and his 3 reluctant companions jumped into the door's gaping mouth, one after another. No sooner did they enter than an all-familiar noise sounded from their left wrists. The detonator had activated. Junpei looked back only once and saw Lotus and Clover on the other side of the door of the closing door.
No!
Bye. They stood still, stopped where they had been when Santa reached the red. The defeat and desperation on their faces tore at Junpei's heart. Then the door closed and they were gone.
You son of a bitch, Junpei! This isn't fair!
Santa rounded on Junpei, lightning crackling in his eyes and his knuckles white.
Do you realize what you just did? You leave them out there, and they can't...
Shut it! That's enough!
It hadn't been Junpei that spoke, but second.
Gotta find the dead or none of this is gonna matter!
The clock was ticking. The dead was on their only chance at survival. Unless they could find it and deactivate their detonators, the 4 of them would be...
We got less than a minute left! No time for screwing around! Get moving!
wall spaghetti? That's what you'll be.
Damn it! You and I are not done yet, bastard!
They scattered and began to scour the room. The deactivation device was nowhere to be found.
Where the hell is it?
Corridors stretched out in 3 directions, but every one was blocked off by a wall of metal. There was only one way out. Only one other door.
Over there! It's gotta be behind the door!
7 ran for the door, a rusty iron thing, sorry, not the rusty iron thing. His large hands grabbed hold of the handle and pulled.
damn, it's pitch dark inside.
Can't see a thing!
Junpei stuck his head through the door and looked around the room.
No, wait!
Almost immediately, he spotted the blinking red light on the right wall.
I found it! The dead's right over here!
He stepped into the room.
Ugh. What? The floor's slippery!
He stopped and glanced down at his feet. What was...
Hey! What the hell are you doing?
There's something...
Get over there!
Junpei felt Seven's heavy hand against his back and stumbled across the room. Yay. The other 3 piled in behind him. They all felt immediately that something was wrong. Nothing that could easily be identified. Only a sense that something terrible shared the room with them. But there was no time to say so.
Quick! Get to the dead!
They all started running. In the dark, it was hard to tell where the wall was. All they could see was the tiny red light blinking at them over and over and over.
There it is!
Oh, it's covered in blood. In quick succession, they all slammed their hands against the quick scanner panel. Was the blood dried, or... I don't think it would be. Okay, we all pant. Seven leaned against the wall, gulping air as his breathing began to return to normal. He glanced at his left wrist and grunted.
It stopped. It stopped.
Jumpy could hear him laughing in the dark, but could barely make out the larger man's face.
I don't think I'll ever get used to doing this.
What the...
The sound of retching came from Santa's direction.
What the hell is this smell? This is vile. I'm gonna puke.
Don't, please. So desperate had they been in their race to the dead that no one had noticed the horrible smell that pervaded the room. It was a terrible, nauseating stench, like burned and rotten meat. Adrenaline had drowned it out, but now it rolled over Jumpy in waves, forcing itself into his nose and with every breath he took.
Oh, you're right. This is...
He felt his stomach clenched and bile rise up in his throat.
Let's get the lights on first. There's a switch over here.
The light that spilled in from the door barely illuminated a small switch plate next to the door. Slowly, with the toll of the last few minutes apparent in his gait... His gait? Seven walked towards it. Oh, it's nice and slippery and sloshy.
Okay, guys, I'm flipping it on.
There was a soft click as the lights came on. Just as the light turned on, June took a short breath and... Well, he screamed. Boop, boop, boop. A scream echoes through the room. Jumpy's breath stopped in his throat. His heart ceased to beat. I mean, that's not possible. Then you'd be dead, you know? Time froze. His mind scrambled to make sense of what he saw before him.
What?
Hey. Oh, this is...
What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood, like a tiny islands in a great red sea. A vast, ragged hole had been torn into the torso, and what remained of its intestines spilled out like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried to it. I know we've read this before, but I can't skip it, so I'm gonna read it.
Looks like an explosion.
Seven's voice was low and strained.
Just like the Ninth Man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut.
Oh god. The bone is coming out of his left arm.
It's definitely an open fracture.
It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. His legs were both bent in an odd and natural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painful wide bone of his ulna. I just love this song. Sorry, I just love this song so much. His bracelet lay next to him. It seems to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces. Jesus, in fleeces. Yes.
Yeah, you can't even tell who it is.
Half of his head had simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pieces of dough covered in tomato sauce. His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie with the white shirt and the jacket with the yellow piping and the grey slacks.
But the clothes are...
Yeah, snakes. They were all familiar to Jumpy.
Is that...
Snake?
Snake?
Maybe. We all know that it's not, because we've had that. We've already got him out of the coffin, so... Santa's voice wavered as he spoke, his mouth dry.
Oh my god.
Finally, Junpei spoke.
Why did this happen?
No!
Oh, our face is, like, not okay. Suddenly, June was screaming, her voice broken. It was an eerie scream, full of insanity, and not entirely human.
No! No! No!
Hey, calm down. She shook her head violently and grabbed a fistful of her own hair. Junpei could hear the sounds of hair tearing.
Stop! Calm down.
He grabbed for her wrists. Jesus, June. Calm the fuck down.
Hey!
I mean, I know it's not a nice sight, but you don't have to murder yourself. It's a bit much, don't you think? But as he did, June leaped up and ran towards the exit.
Please! Get me out of here! You have to let me out of here!
She screamed at the door and her fist slammed against it with a hollow sound. Junpei could see drops of blood on her knuckles.
Why are you doing these horrible things to us? What did we do to deserve this?
June.
She screamed again in a desperate, mindless cry. Her fists flailed against the door.
Get me out of here! Please! Please! Just let me out!
Her voice actress is incredible, I'm just saying. Like, she's really nailing this.
June!
Junpei couldn't watch anymore. He ran to June and wrapped his arms around her, pulling the screaming girl away from the door.
Calm down.
No! Get off of me! Let me go! Let me go!
Please, calm down.
She scrambled for a moment, her legs skittering across the floor, but her resistance didn't last long. As suddenly as her outburst had begun, it was over. The manic energy disappeared and her body went limp in Junpei's arms. Oh, the poor girl. June collapsed. They both start with a J! Oh my god. June collapsed toward the floor and Junpei knelt down with her. He felt drops of something warm and wet. Her tears. Was she crying? A moment later, she began to sob. Oh, this is nice. This looks nice. He's like, I'll hold you. Her shoulders shook and great hot tears rolled down her face like rain.
We're gonna be fine. It's gonna be alright, June. It's going to be okay, Connie.
Her name was a whisper.
I'll be here with you, okay?
Oh, I love it. It's so cute. She nodded once.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jumpy.
Her trembling voice pulled at Junpei's heart. He stroked her hair gently. His face was so close to her. The scent of her hair was nostalgic.
Do you feel better?
Yes, but I'd like to stay here. For a little while, at least.
Oh, she likes being hugged.
Jumpy's body is so warm.
Oh, so adorable. You're so cute. I can't help it, they're so adorable. Several minutes passed before June's tears had dried. Junpei stood up. He bent down, put his arms under June's, and helped her to her feet. They didn't speak. Neither did Seven or Santa. The person was dead. They had died in that room in a terrible way. Junpei knew there was no way he could make himself forget that. There was no way that any of them could forget it, but mourning would do no good. They spread out to search the room, but each felt as if their heart was made of lead.
We better get to it.
Probably a good idea. Seek a way out. Sorry. A different way, right? The other way around. There we go. Okay, so let's check things. All right, let's see if there's anything happens if I turn you on. When I turn you? Nope, nothing. Not even a drop. Is the pipe clogged? Those letters written in blood. LLR. Do you think that might be some sort of dying message from Snake? No, that's impossible. No, that's impossible. You saw the body. You aren't doing anything after something like that happens to you. Then this is... The way the blood's dried tells you it's really old. Whoever's blood this isn't Snake's. Then you're saying this blood was put here a long time ago? Yeah. Okay. That's where we came in. I guess it's not locked, but there ain't really any point. All that's out there is a numbered door. We can't go back through the numbered door even if we wanted to. Chunk of pinkish meat are splattered across the floor. Snake, why did this happen to you? Damn, I just can't... Snake's body. I can barely stand to look at it. That's what is left of Snake's body. Oh man, Clover. To lose your brother like this? They're just chunks of flesh all over the place. Shit, I can't look at this anymore. Okay. That was the last one. I just wanted to make sure. Can we take this? We can take the bucket? It's a tin bucket. Hey, Jumpy? Do you remember back in elementary school when you spilled all of our paint across the whole classroom? They made you clean it up, and all they gave you was a sponge and a bucket. Like this. Hey, come on. Hey, come on now. Can we just leave the past in the past? Jumpy reached for the broom, and as he grabbed it, he heard a soft voice from behind him. It was June.
The rabbit Hutch.
Huh?
He turned round. June still looked sadly pale, but there was a smile on her face.
Oh, you just reminded me of it. The rabbit Hutch, I mean.
How did I remind you of something like that?
Jumpy and the broom. You're always playing around with the broom in front of the rabbit Hutch.
Oh, that's so adorable.
I was.
Don't you remember?
I mean, clearly he doesn't. Jumpy stared at the broom in his hand.
You mean you don't remember that summer either?
She looked very sad. He shook his head.
Of course I remember. How could I forget something like that? It was terrible.
What? Oh, flashback. They were in 6th grade. Jumpy and June had been assigned to take care of the classroom pets, the rabbits. Their chief duty was to clean the hutches every morning. On the final day of school before summer vacation began, Jumpy overslept. He rushed to school and found June standing in front of the rabbit hutches. No sooner had Jumpy arrived than June began to cry. He had no idea why until he looked behind her into the rabbit hutch. And the first thing he saw was blood. The hutch was filled with the dead bodies of the rabbits. Even after their teachers and their friends came to see what the commotion was, June couldn't stop crying.
I just kept crying and crying until you came over. You held my hand, and you looked very serious, and you said, "Don't cry. I'm gonna catch the person who did this." After you told me that, I finally stopped crying.
Well, the real fun started after you quit crying. You told me we were going to catch the killer together.
June smiled, and a little of the flush of life returned to her cheeks.
Then we decided that we'd ambush them.
Yeah, I remember.
Sounds like a really fun thing. Also very dangerous, but the school also kept roosters and guinea pigs. Junpei and June had decided the murderer would likely return to finish off the rest of the animals. They would ambush the killer at night. Junpei and June, sorry, other way around, hid behind the hutch at dusk and waited. It was a warm summer night. The quiet sound of crickets whispered to the air. As the sun went down, the stars began to wink at them in the sky. And June's Akane Kuroshiki's face. That night was something Junpei knew he would never forget as long as he lived.
But the murderer never showed up.
Which is evident because we just saw her face.
We waited for them all summer vacation, and they never showed up.
Yeah, but the animals didn't get attacked either. I think all that work amounted to something, you know?
He'd felt the same way, but it was good to hear her say it.
Although, you know, if you think about it, we were probably taking on a lot more than we could handle.
What do you mean?
She looked up at him, confused.
Well, come on, we were just kids. If whoever killed the rabbits had actually showed up, they probably would have had a knife or something. I mean, you must have been pretty worried, right?
I wasn't worried.
Nah, 'cause you were with him.
Because you were there with me.
Yeah, she felt safe with you. She blushed furiously.
Well, you know, no one else wanted to take care of the animals.
Clearly embarrassed, she tried desperately to change the subject.
I was the only one who asked to do it at first.
Yeah, well, boys don't really want to bother with taking care of animals, you know?
Well, yeah, but you asked to do it after I did, didn't you?
If it wasn't the rabbits, they were going to make me do something else. You know how that school was. I figured it'd be better if I was working with somebody who wasn't too much of a loudmouth, right? Somebody who wasn't going to tell on me if I felt like blowing it off.
Really? That's why you volunteered?
Yeah, it is.
No. He nodded quickly and much too earnestly, and then quickly looked away at something very important. He totally volunteered because he wanted to spend time with you, girl.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Of course.
No. That hadn't been the reason, of course. He had asked to take care of the rabbits so he could be near June, yeah. But it had been so long ago he couldn't bring himself to tell her how he felt back then. It would be embarrassing. Oh, come on. He took a quick breath to clear his head, tossed the broom up, and then snatched it out of the air.
Well, we don't really have time to be walking down memory lane like this, you know? We've got to figure out a way out of this room. Otherwise...
Yes. I'm gonna look over there.
June nodded curtly and then turned and walked away.
I should get back to it myself. Ah! That's right. The pool of blood.
Junpei turned around and looked at the room. At Snake's body, chunks of flesh and organs still lay on the floor.
Going on and on about old times right next to a corpse? What were we doing?
Yeah, but we're not gonna look at the body even more, right?
Well, maybe it was because we're in this mess.
Despite such a situation, or perhaps because of it, the mind turned to the farthest thing from death that it could find. Well, you talked about dead rabbits, so I don't think that's true. Still, Junpei couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt at wanting to so desperately to live when Snake lay dead before him.
I have to survive, no matter the cost. I need to make sure she gets out too.
As he stared at the clumps of blackened flesh, all Junpei could think of was how much he wanted to live. What are you doing with the broom? I found it. Dividing wall that separates the toilets. Yeah, but I wanna... Can I not? Okay, fine. It's blue. What do you think this is? It looks like tar. It's kind of sticky. I don't think we can just wipe it off. I doubt just pouring some water on it's gonna help much either. What about hot water? Hot water? If we had some really hot water, like boiling hot, then maybe that would wash it off. Maybe. Nothing in this one. There's nothing in the toilet. If there was, that would be gross. I already checked all the three toilets, you know. Nothing unusual there. It's a thermometer. Can you get it off? No. It's screwed onto the wall. We need a screwdriver. Okay, well that's a lock with a code that I don't have. Well, that's something I don't have. There's a piece of paper tied to this pipe with a wire. Notice, drainage valve operation. Please do not flush the water in these pipes. Doing so may cause the drain to overflow. That's the first ones, right? That's on the wall. Left, left, right. That? Maybe? I guess it won't tell me until I get the code, right? There's water coming out from the shower head. Let's see if... Shit, that's hot! Really hot! Man, that water must be just about boiling. We need that for the toilet. We got toilet rolls. Huh. It's a toilet paper with some kind of red symbols on it. You think that maybe it's a skytail cipher? A skytail cipher? What the hell is that? You wrap the piece of paper around as a stick and then write several sentences on it so the whole paper is filled up. Then you unwrap the paper and you can tell what the original message was, right? That's how it works, more or less. Then to decipher it, you gotta have a stick that's the same diameter as the original one. Same diameter as the original one, huh? Yeah. Then you just wrap the paper around that stick and you can read the code. Broom. What if I wrap the toilet paper around the broom? Ah, so you wrap the toilet paper around the broom, huh? Looks like the symbols line up perfectly. It says 634 plus... 634 plus? Oh. What's there? Wooden box. Something in there. Luminol. Ah, we got luminol. Okay. That illuminates things, right? What was the code again? Just to be sure. 634. Okay. Don't know what that is. Maybe it's a part of the code. And then plus. Plus what? That's a good question. So... I'm pretty sure you need to use luminol on here. Wait! You don't really think we're supposed to use luminol here, do you? Yeah, it does seem kind of weird to use it here, but maybe I should try just in case. Ha! LRL. Okay. LRL. There. Well, I did what it said on the wall. I wonder if it actually did anything. Hey, this drain's acting up. What the hell did you do? I just messed with the valves a little. Nothing big. Oh, it should be showering now. I guess we can use the bucket. Doesn't look like the shower works. This shower? Maybe I can use the shower here to fill the bucket with hot water. Hey, 7, could you turn on the shower? I'm gonna put the bucket under the head. Okay, sure thing. Nice. So now we can flush away this stuff. So there's something that looks like tar inside the toilet bowl. If I flush the hot water from the bucket, that should clean it up. Okay. There's something that looks like tar inside the toilet bowl. If I flush the hot water from there, okay. Yep. Oh, maybe I need to put it in a tank? Oh, screwdriver. Alright, so... Looks like you filled it. Now you should be able to flush it, right? There's probably a handle or something on the tank that you can pull. You think so? Serious? Serious? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Some pipes. They're connected to the tank or the toilet. Sometimes you need to pull those. Alright, let's flush the hot water. Well, there it goes. Just like a toilet should work. I got that. Ah. 185. Okay, well, 185. Which would be 9. That's 11. Carry the 1. 7, 8. 819. 819. Okay, so now we can get this guy off.
Hey, Junpei, you know why thermometers only go up to 107 degrees Fahrenheit?
No, I can't say I ever thought about that.
Jumpy answered without ever taking his eyes off the screw.
At 107 degrees, the cells in the human body start to die, and the organs begin to shut down. The proteins in your cells start to harden. It's like when you hard-boil an egg. Even if you cool it down afterwards, it won't go back to being a raw egg. In other words, it's dead. That's why thermometers don't go past 107. There's no point.
Why had Santa brought that up? Jumpy wondered.
Oh yeah?
Continued to work at the screw.
But it's pretty rare for a fever to get that high. Even viruses and stuff don't usually drive the body temperature up to 107. Of course, there are other external things that could.
Like an incinerator?
Like what?
Well, let's see. Something like getting locked in a sauna, or getting thrown into an incinerator and burnt to death.
Hint, hint?
Yeah, I guess that would get a little hotter than 107 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Jumpy gave a snort. Snort? Gave a snort. Let me just do some cocaine. Jumpy gave a short barking laugh. A moment later, the screw fell off. With a small tug, Jumpy pulled the thermometer off the wall.
All right, I got it.
He looked up and saw Santa glaring at the blank section of the wall.
Huh? What's up?
Nothing. Forget about it.
Santa spun around and walked off, away from
What
Jumpy.
was that all about?
But as Jumpy watched him go, he didn't look angry. He looked very, very sad. Okay, well, we got this guy, I guess. I don't know what to use this for, but... Oh, you took the thermometer off. It says open on the bottom of the gouge. I wonder what that means. Maybe when it gets that hot, something will open? Oh. I guess not. I mean, I don't really see what... Huh? Do I have to put it under the shower head or something? Yeah, if I can get this hot water on the thermometer, then maybe... Alright, thermometer, let's get this party started! Yep, looks like that's doing the trick. There goes the gouge. And now it says... Now it's at the open mark. Huh, it opened. What's this? Looks like there's a piece of paper in here. Oh, it's a 3-1. Okay. So it's 634, 957, and 185. Plus, right? So 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. Carry the 1. 3 plus 8 is 3 plus 5 is 8. Plus 8 is 16, right? Yeah, 16 plus 1 is 17. Carry the 1. And then we have 6 plus 1 is 7. Plus 9 is 16. Carry the 1. 17. So 1,776. Okay. Still have the broom, but... Okay. Nothing happens when I press these buttons. Well, it looks like the power's on. I'm wondering what the deal is with those things that say lock up there, though. Do we have to put something else? Oh, what's this drain doing? There must be water flowing through the pipe on the right. Water's pouring out the drain. I'll take that. Maybe that's what we need. Okay, the blue light just came on. But can I use it now? Nothing happens when I press the buttons. I guess I have to get the red and blue lights on first. So I need another card? Guess I need another card. Come on, man. I already said I'd check them. Why don't you trust me? I trust you. I'm just making sure. One box. Nothing else interesting here. Stack of toilet paper. That's nothing interesting. A thick pipe that stretches across the floor. I mean, that's... The hot water seemed to have done the trick, and all the dirt's gone. There's something written in there. Yeah, we already have that. We already have that, too. Okay. A light? Can I click the light like usual? I mean, I have the code. And I have a piece of paper. Boiling hot water comes out of the shower. There ought to be a warning label or something. Water's flowing from the drain when we found the key card. Am I missing something here, or...? I mean, we've checked out basically everything. I'm just gonna click everything now. Dividing... Lights. The light bulb provides light for this room. Yay! Well, maybe something in the dark. Oh, that doesn't... That goes back on if I do that. I get it. Those letters are the position for the water valves. I know, I've already done that. The divider between the stalls. On the other side of this wall. No, I don't want to think about that. Okay, but I don't know... What the heck? Boiling hot water. Looks like that works. Huh? I mean... We've got that already. Yeah. And we got this guy. It's a blue key card. This is the symbol of Mercury, isn't it? There was an elevator right outside the big hospital room. I think that same symbol was in the card reader next to it. That's right. I guess that means we're not supposed to use this card in this room. Do you really think so? I don't think maybe we should use it. Maybe we need it for this room and for the elevator. I can try it again. Blue light is on. Now I got the red light turned on. Yeah, but like where? The password is 4 digits. I know. It looks like the red light is off. Yeah, and it still says lock. I know! But like, where the fuck is that thing then? What? Like, if I click on there, I just immediately go to the padlock thing. Nothing's up here. This is a wooden box. This is the toilet paper. Am I missing something? I swear I've played this game before, but... In a tank? There might be something in the tank, you know. Let's open that shit up. Oh my god, there it was. I'm glad I checked it. There. Huh? The blue light was just on, but it's off now. And the red light's on instead. Guess we have to swipe the red card first and then the blue card. Okay. Great job, Jumpy! Both of the lights are on now. Now you just need to put in the password. Both lights are on now. We should be able to enter the password now. Okay, yeah, we know. E is enter, C is clear. 177. 1776. Enter. Hey, I'm good at calculus. I'm good at addition at least. There we go. That was room number 3. We found it! Woohoo! Outside the shower room was a hallway that extended off to the left and right.
There's a large iron door at the end.
Let's take a look.
They'd moved a few steps forward to the door when Jumpy heard a sound of metal on metal.
Huh?
They turned around. Seven was doing something to the door of the shower room.
What are you doing, Seven?
Well, I figure maybe we might want to come back here sometime. So, I stuck the broom in there to keep the door from shutting. Alright, let's go.
With that, he stood up and began walking down the hallway. He brushed past Jumpy and kept going. After a moment, the rest of them followed him. Before long, they found themselves at a large iron door. They had only been here a moment when June spoke up.
Jumpy, look!
Oh, this time it's June, not Clover. He turned. There on the right side of the hallway was a piece of paper attached to the wall.
What's up?
What's that on the wall there?
Oh, I think it's
Jumpy ran over and peeled it off.
a map of the ship's interior?
It says C deck.
So it's the map for this floor then. We'll have time to study it later. Let's keep going for now.
Jumpy folded the map and stuffed it into his pocket. Back at the door, the 4 of them lined up in front of it. Santa stepped forward. He grabbed hold of the door and then turned to look back at the rest of them.
Ready? I'm gonna open it.
Do it. They nodded. Santa nodded back and threw the door open. All 4 of them leapt through.
What the?
You're shitting me.
It took only a moment for them to realize where they were.
We're back.
In the hospital room, yes. They had been there only a short time ago. It was a large hospital room filled with countless beds. Lotus and Clover looked up as they entered. Ace was there as well, although he looked as though he had only just woken up.
Clover! Lotus! And Ace! I'm glad you're all okay. Lotus? What are you?
She's gonna slap me. The moment they spotted Jumpy, Lotus and Clover headed straight for him. As she neared him, Lotus drew back her hand, ow, and slapped him open-palmed across the face.
How could you do this to us?
Her face was furious. She grabbed Jumpy by the collar and shook him violently. Clover didn't touch him, but the hate in her eyes was no less potent. It was Seven who stopped them.
Knock it off! We got bigger shit to worry about right now.
His deep voice echoed across the massive room. Lotus glared at Seven, but let Jumpy go after one last vicious shake.
What?
Go have a look.
I
stuck the screwdriver in the door. That door over there, the one without a number. As long as the screwdriver's there, it can't shut, so you can get in there. There's a shower room past there. I stuck a broom at the door there too. Anyway, go take a look.
Then you're saying we can go in there without passing through the numbered door?
Yeah, it's about the size of it.
Wait, what the hell is in there?
You'll know when you see it.
Fine, let's go.
Lotus and Clover looked at one another for a moment and then nodded and stepped through the door. But by then, Ace had made his way to them, moving with the stiff, shuffling steps of someone who had just woken up from a lengthy slumber. We hate you, Ace.
My goodness. I know I said I was sure you'd come back. I didn't think it would happen so soon, though.
Shut up. You Clover killer. You snake killer. You unidentified man, Guy X killer. Ace shook his head weakly.
Should I go as well?
Yeah.
Seven nodded.
Very well.
Ace followed Lotus and Clover with a stiff, tired gait. Is gait just another word for ass or body or something? The squeal of tortured metal made Jumpy's teeth curl. It sounded like the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. Okay, now that's...
Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed this...
This is the skippable part. Okay. I think I'm gonna leave it here because I've been recording for a little while. I hope you enjoyed it. That was like door 3. And the next time we're gonna continue and possibly, let's check here. We probably only have 1 card, so we only have 1 door, I think. Which is, I believe, door 2, which will lead us to this ending. I'm not quite sure what this is, but I'm sure we'll figure that out. So there's only 1 way we can go, so we're just gonna let this play out and then end up in door 2, I believe. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.